Welcome back to the Arbitrary YouTube channel. Today's class we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful bubble skirt that you see here. It's a very beautiful and elegant skirt and it's very simple to make. This is something you like to learn. Kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Okay, so this style was actually posted on our style illustration channel and they got a lot of requests in the comment section for the dress, so I figured it's the bubble skirt we want a tutorial on. So if you like a tutorial on the full outfit, kindly let me know in the comment section, but this tutorial is going to be focusing on the skirt, on the bubble skirt that we have on the thumbnail. So I'm using these two contrasting fabric. I'm going to be using this as my lining and this as my main fabric because I want us to see the reason why the lining is going to be shorter. So that's why I'm using two fabric that are totally different. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to calculate the measurement for this flare. So the measurement we're going to be using for our lining is going to be different from the measurement we will work on with our main fabric. For the lining, I'm just going to be working with a quarter circle flare, okay, 1/4 of a circle. That's the flare that I'm going to be working with for the lining. And for the main fabric, I'm going to be working with a full circle flare. That's the regular flare that we're used to. So for the lining, my waist measurement is very important, or wherever it is you want to place this bubble skirt. The waist I'm working with is 28 inches plus allowance. So in the case of the tutorial on the thumbnail, there is an elastic, so it means you're not going to be working with your regular waist measurement. You're going to be adding whatever inches that you want to add for you to be able to add elastic to have enough room on the skirt. So you add your extra inches to your measurement before you divide it. So now for the radius of this, I'm going to be working with my circumference, which in this case is my waist, divided by 1.57. This is a constant. A tutorial on how we are able to get this 1.57 is already on the channel. It's a long tutorial, so please, I will link it in the comment section if you want to know how we came about it. But this is a constant for a 1/4 circle, your circumference, or wherever you want to place this skirt, divided by 1.57, and this gave me 17.8. And then for the main fabric, remember I said it's a full circle flare, so I'm dividing this same 28 inches by 6.28, which is also a constant for a full circle flare. That video also explained how we got this as well, so you can check it out. So now my radius for the main fabric is going to be 4.45, while I'm going to be working with 17.8 for the lining. So I'm just going to approximate this to 18, and then I'm going to approximate this to 14.5 as well. So I'm going to explain the cutting with this paper before I transfer it to my fabric. So now let's assume this is your fabric. It is not on fold. For the lining, your fabric is not going to be placed on fold. You just have your fabric like it is, like this. Then you choose one edge of the fabric, and then on that edge, the radius that you calculated, which was 18 inches, you're going to, from one edge here, you're going to measure that 18 inches. So I'm just going to assume is around 4 inches. Okay, let's just assume it's 4 inches. So from one edge, you're going to mark your 18 inches all round like you do for your flare, and then you connect it. Then after connecting it, you're going to mark your full length for the skirt. So in this case, I want my full length to be around 21 inches, but this full length now for your lining, it has to be shorter than the main body. So for me, I want it to be 2 inches shorter. So if I want to work with 21 inches for my main fabric, I'm going to be working with 19 inches for the full length of my lining. So now I'm going to assume this is 6 inches as well, and then you're just going to measure the 6 inches all around, and then you're going to connect it. So this is how you're going to measure for your lining. And remember that this fabric is not on fold. The fabric is on its form like this. So you just take your circumference measurement, and then you take your full length measurement. So I'll go ahead and cut this on my black fabric now. Okay, so now you can see my fabric. This is my fabric. You can see that the fabric is not on fold. I just laid it down like this, and then from this angle here, I took my tape now, and then I measured out my radius, which is 18 inches. You can see that I have exactly 18 inches, and then I connected that all round. So you can see. So after connecting it all around, this is what I have. It's quite big. Then after marking the radius, I went ahead to mark from that point to my full length. So I changed my full length to 20 inches for the lining and 22 inches for the main fabric, and you can see that I have exactly 20 inches, and then I marked that all round as well. So I have 20 inches all round. You can see this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my scissors, and then I'm going to cut this out. So I've cut it out, and this is what it looks like. This is the radius. I'll just fold this into two so that we can see it well. So this is the radius and this is the full length. So the next thing now is to bring in our main fabric and cut as well. So for the main fabric, remember we are cutting a full circle flare, which means we are going to fold into two first, then after folding into two we are going to fold into four. So after folding into four like this, the next thing is to mark your radius. My radius is 4.5. so from here you mark your 4.5 and then you connect, and then the length of the skirt is 22 inches. Remember, it's 2 inches higher than the lining, so you mark your 22 inches and then you connect as well, which is what I'm going to do on this fabric now. Okay, so I've marked this on my fabric. After folding into four, I have 4.5 inches here as my radius and 22 inches all around here as my length. So the next thing now is for me to go ahead and cut this out as well. Okay, so I have cut out my main fabric now, and then this is my lining. So again, I'm going to explain with the paper because it's smaller. So now this is our lining, which was cut without fold, and this is our main bodice, which was cut by folding into four. You can see. So now what I'm going to do now is to open one of these. So if you don't want it to open, if you're not passing a zipper through this and you don't want to open it up, you just need to add allowance to your lining, and then you close up your lining as well. It's that simple. So I'm just going to simply open this up. Then after opening it up, you can clearly see that although the radius is going to be the same, okay, your radius is going to be the same, but the hem is not going to be the same. So the hem of this, the hem of the 360 is going to be wider than the hem of your 90 degree. Okay, so this lining is a 90 degree flare and the main fabric is a 360 degree flare. So you can see the hem is going to be shorter. So you can see the difference that we have here. So this is where the magic happens. So what we're going to do now is to go ahead and gather the hem of the main fabric. We are going to gather it to what we have here as our lining, and that is where we're going to get our bubbles. So what I'm going to do now is to measure what I have on the hem of this lining, and then after measuring what I have on the hem of the lining, I'll go ahead and gather my main fabric to what I have on my hem. You can decide to measure what you have on the hem of your main fabric as well. Here I have 63 inches, exactly 63 inches on the hem. And then for the main fabric, remember it's folded into four, so I'll just measure one part and multiply it by 4. So this one part that I'm measuring, I have around 41 inches. So now if you multiply 41 inches by 4, that's going to give me 164. The 164 is very different from the 63 inches that we have from our lining. So this 164 that I have on the hem of the main fabric, I will gather it to 63 inches before I use them to turn out each other. Okay, so I have gone ahead to gather it to 63 inches that I need for my lining. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and join my lining together, because I did not slash my skirt. You can see it's still together. Remember, if you are going to be fixing an elastic to this, you don't need a zipper, so it's going to be big enough for you to wear it. That was why I did not slash it open. So what I did was just to close my lining as well. You can see where I sew it. I just closed it up so that it can be one single piece as well. So what you're going to do now is to go ahead and match it right side facing right side, and then you sew your lining and then your main fabric together on the hem so that you can turn it out neatly. Okay, so I've gone ahead to gather it. You can see that the black remains the same. It remains its original measurement, and then the main fabric is what we have gathered. You can also plait this if you don't want to work with gather. So I have gathered mine round now. The next thing I'm going to do is to turn it to the right side. So when you turn to the right side, you can already see the fullness that you have around that side. So now you're going to match up your waistline with your main fabric. Okay, so yeah, you can see the bubble, so which is why I used a contrasting color for the lining. By the time you're done, your lining should not be showing. You should have excess, which was the excess 2 inches. You can even use up to 3 inches, so that I can have this puffiness. You see all this puffiness that we see around here. So for you to have all of this puffiness, your lining and your main fabric should not be the same. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and sew this together so that I can have them as one single piece, and then you fix your band, then you take it to your mannequin. So now if you are fixing lining your elastic to your band as well, you should consider that. Fix your elastic, and then you fix this to the waist of your skirt, and then you take it to the mannequin to see what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful the bubble skirt came out? You can see the hem of the skirt. You can see how lovely and full it is. So despite the fact that we use the contrasting color of fabric for our lining, the lining is still not showing because we made it shorter. And this is what the skirt looks like on the side. So I'm just going to turn the back for us so that we can see the view of the back as well. But you can see how lovely this is looking. So for your lining, you can also cut it in a straight form, but I prefer to cut mine in a flare form like that. I just prefer to use 90-degree flare. With that, I'm not going to be struggling with the amount that I need for my hem. And then you can see that the back is just as lovely as the front. It's very beautiful and very simple to make. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.